Before starting, put the auto-generated YouTube subtitles in French or your mother tongue to get everything, and slow down or speed up the pace as needed. If you don't have time to watch it, just listen this video as a podcast while doing something else. Now listen and learn English as exploring our world. The 1920s, a time of flappers, jazz, and incredible advancements in technology. But none captured the public's imagination quite like the rapid progress in aviation. This was the Golden Age of flight. Two French aviators, Charles Nungesser and François Coli, aimed to achieve the first non-stop transatlantic flight from Paris to New York, a feat never before accomplished. Nungesser, a World War I flying ace, and Coli, a brilliant navigator, were not your average pilots. Their aircraft, a modified Levasseur PL-8 biplane, was christened the Whitebird, l'Oiseau Blanc in French. The world watched with bated breath as Nungesser and Coli prepared for their daring adventure, a flight that would become one of the greatest mysteries in aviation history. Charles Nungesser, a living legend, was decorated for his bravery in World War I. François Coli, a seasoned pilot and brilliant navigator, brought a calculated calmness to their daring partnership. Together, they formed a formidable team, captivating the world with their audacious challenge. Their chariot, the Whitebird, was meticulously modified for the perilous journey across the Atlantic. Every inch of space was sacrificed to accommodate massive fuel tanks for the non-stop flight. The Whitebird wasn't just a machine, it was an extension of Nungesser and Coli's dreams, their hopes, and their unwavering belief in their abilities. The year was 1927, and the world was captivated by the race to conquer the Atlantic. The Orteig Prize, a $25,000 reward, ignited fierce competition among the world's most daring aviators. For Nungesser and Coli, the prize money was secondary. Their goal was to claim the glory of being the first to achieve this aviation milestone for France. May 8, 1927, Paris awoke to an unusually chilly spring morning. At Le Bourget airfield, a crowd gathered, drawn by the allure of witnessing a pivotal moment in history. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the darkness, the Whitebird awaited its date with destiny. Nungesser and Coli emerged from the hangar, their faces etched with determination. After a final salute to the crowd, they climbed aboard the Whitebird. The Whitebird lifted off the ground, its wings slicing through the morning air, soaring towards the horizon. The Whitebird banked sharply to the west, setting course for the vast expanse of the Atlantic Ocean. Nungesser and Coli meticulously checked their instruments, their course charted, their spirits high. As the Whitebird disappeared into the vast blue canvas of the morning sky, it carried with it the hopes and dreams of a nation. The Whitebird pressed westward, leaving behind the familiar shores of France. Scattered reports from fishing boats offered fleeting reassurance, a glimpse of white wings against the clouds. Yet, each confirmed sighting was followed by an unnerving silence, fueling a growing sense of unease. As the sun began its westward descent, a profound silence settled over the Whitebird's journey. The day that had dawned with hope and anticipation was drawing to a close, and the once frequent reports of sightings had dwindled. Families huddled around radio sets, clinging to the hope that a reassuring message would confirm the safety of their heroes. With each passing hour, the absence of news deepened the mystery surrounding the Whitebird's fate. Theories circulated, ranging from mechanical difficulties to navigational errors. French authorities launched a massive search and rescue operation, but the vastness of the Atlantic made the task daunting. As days turned into weeks, hope dwindled, and a grim reality settled over the search. Experts reluctantly conceded that a crash into the unforgiving waters of the North Atlantic was the most likely scenario. The vastness of the search area and limited technology made locating the downed aircraft akin to searching for a needle in a haystack. Central to the theory of a crash at sea were calculations surrounding the Whitebird's fuel capacity and range. Experts meticulously analyzed weather reports and wind patterns, attempting to pinpoint a possible crash site. The cruel reality was that even a slight deviation from their planned course could have left the aviators stranded over the vast ocean. Adding to the mystery was the complete absence of any distress signals from the Whitebird. The plane, though equipped with a basic radio transmitter, had limited range and was reliant on favorable atmospheric conditions for effective communication. No SOS messages, no garbled transmissions, no desperate pleas for help. Only an eerie silence emanating from the vast expanse where the Whitebird had last been seen. The lack of any floating debris, oil slicks, or other telltale signs of a crash further deepened the mystery. The vastness of the Atlantic, its powerful currents, and the passage of time could have scattered any remnants of the plane far and wide, making the already daunting task of locating them virtually impossible. For the families of Nungesser and Coli, the lack of any definitive answers only prolonged their agony. The sea, which had held such promise and allure at the outset of the Whitebird's journey, now stood as a silent guardian of its secrets, offering no closure, no solace, only an enduring mystery that would echo through the annals of aviation history. As the search for the Whitebird continued in vain, the world's attention was captivated by another daring transatlantic flight. Charles Lindbergh took off from Roosevelt Field, New York, in his single-engine monoplane, the Spirit of St. Louis, capturing the world's imagination. After a grueling 33-hour flight, Lindbergh touched down safely at Le Bourget Airfield in Paris. Lindbergh's triumphant arrival in Paris cast a long shadow over the mystery of the Whitebird. The world, caught up in the euphoria of Lindbergh's achievement, seemed to forget the two French aviators who had set out on the same daring mission just weeks earlier. Newspapers that had once dedicated their front pages to speculating about the fate of Nungesser and Coli now trumpeted Lindbergh's every move, relegating the Whitebird to the back pages, a footnote in the annals of aviation history. The search for the Whitebird, once a matter of national importance, gradually lost momentum. Ships, which had diligently scoured the Atlantic for any sign of the missing aircraft, returned to their regular routes, their crews carrying with them the weight of unanswered questions and the fading hope of finding any trace of the lost aviators. The families of Nungesser and Coli, robbed of the closure that comes with knowing the fate of their loved ones, were left to grapple with their grief and uncertainty in the shadow of Lindbergh's triumph. The world had moved on, captivated by a new hero, leaving them behind with their unanswered questions and the enduring mystery of the Whitebird's disappearance. Despite the lack of definitive answers, France mourned the loss of Nungesser and Coli, honoring them as national heroes who had dared to challenge the limits of human endeavor. Monuments were erected, streets were named in their honor, and their story became woven into the fabric of French aviation lore. They were remembered not for their failure to complete their mission, but for their courage, their ambition, and their willingness to risk everything in pursuit of a dream. The mystery of the Whitebird, however, refused to fade entirely. Over the years, sporadic reports of possible wreckage sightings, anecdotal accounts from witnesses who claimed to have seen the plane in flight, and persistent rumors of a crash landing in a remote corner of North America kept the legend alive. The lack of concrete evidence only fueled speculation, ensuring that the story of the Whitebird would endure as one of aviation's most enduring enigmas. The fates of Charles Lindbergh and Nungesser and Coli, forever linked by their shared ambition to conquer the Atlantic, offer a poignant reminder of the capricious nature of fate, the fine line between triumph and tragedy, and the enduring power of mysteries that time cannot erase. Decades passed, and the Whitebird story faded into the background of aviation history. The official stance remained unchanged, lost at sea. Yet the allure of the unknown refused to be silenced. Whispers from the past began to resurface, hinting at a different fate. In the 1980s, a renewed wave of interest captivated a new generation. Researchers re-examined old evidence, finding intriguing discrepancies. Accounts from the northeastern coast painted a different picture. Section 2. The Canadian Connection, shifting the search to Nova Scotia. Among the most compelling new leads was a cluster of reports originating from the remote, heavily forested region of Nova Scotia, Canada. Local fishermen claimed to have seen a plane resembling the Whitebird circling low over the water, as if searching for a place to land. Others spoke of hearing a loud crash in the dense woods, followed by an eerie silence. These accounts, though intriguing, were often vague and lacked concrete evidence. The dense forests of Nova Scotia, with their treacherous terrain and unpredictable weather, posed significant challenges to any search efforts. Years of decay, coupled with the possibility that wreckage could have been moved or buried by natural events, made the prospect of finding definitive proof a daunting task. Despite the obstacles, the possibility that the Whitebird might have reached North America before Lindbergh's celebrated flight ignited the imaginations of researchers and amateur sleuths alike. The allure of uncovering a lost chapter in aviation history, of rewriting the narrative surrounding one of aviation's most enduring mysteries, proved too strong to resist. Section 3. Unraveling the enigma. The quest for concrete evidence continues. Expeditions, armed with metal detectors, ground-penetrating radar, and a profound sense of determination, ventured into the wilds of Nova Scotia, hoping to find tangible evidence to support the theory of a crash landing. Their efforts, though often hampered by the unforgiving terrain and the passage of time, yielded tantalizing clues. Fragments of metal, potentially aircraft debris, were unearthed from the forest floor. Anecdotal accounts from local residents, passed down through generations, spoke of unusual finds in the woods, pieces of canvas, engine parts, and even personal belongings that could have belonged to the missing aviators. While these discoveries fueled speculation and provided tantalizing hints of a possible crash site, they fell short of offering conclusive proof. The passage of time, the harsh conditions of the Nova Scotian wilderness, and the lack of any definitive identifying marks on the recovered artifacts made it difficult to definitively link them to the Whitebird. The mystery, though reignited by these new discoveries, remained unsolved. The Whitebird's enduring legacy, a symbol of courage and mystery. Despite its ill-fated journey, the Whitebird left an indelible mark on aviation history. Nungesser and Coli earned their place in aviation history, forever linked to transatlantic flight. The Whitebird symbolizes human ambition and the unforgiving nature of exploration. Its legacy extends beyond aviation, speaking to our fascination with the unknown and the hope of uncovering truth. Section 2. Forever in Flight, the Allure of Unanswered Questions. Nearly a century after the Whitebird's disappearance, the question of its ultimate fate remains unanswered. Did it crash into the unforgiving waters of the Atlantic? Or did it reach North America, only to meet a tragic fate in Nova Scotia's wilderness? The lack of definitive answers adds to the Whitebird's allure. It continues to spark debate and ignite imaginations. The Whitebird, forever aloft in imagination, beckons us to explore the unknown.